Up until I guess it was about a year ago, I did not understand so much the power of God. I had been kind of a practicing Christian, but didn't really understand completely. And as I tried to follow him and seek him more, some really wild things had started to happen to me lately. And I wanted to share them with you, like some important stuff I believe that you need to know that I feel God is leading me to share with you. But as I say, please bear with me because I'm not used to this kind of stuff. I'm somebody that lived very world based, I guess, and it was about a year ago I had a vision from God that was confirmed by another person at the same time, followed by a miraculous healing in my life, where I was healed of this crippling pain condition that I'd suffered for 15 years. Lately, it's been dreams that have been visions, prophecies coming true, and now, more thoughts coming in through my head from God that have been speaking to me that I want to share with you guys. Important information that I want to share and kind of wrap up here, especially in this time of coronavirus and fear and a lot of different things, because there is a message of hope in all of this. Stepping back about 2 weeks ago from now, I had my first dream, which was crazy for me because I don't normally dream. I can't remember any of my dreams in I don't know how long. So very unusual for me to have a dream, much less a dream that happened like this. And in my dream, just to keep it short and brief, it was me trying to buy food for people at like a counter, like almost like a deli counter type thing. And there was only half of a sandwich left in there with bugs carrying it away. Bugs are usually symbolic with disease. At the time, I didn't know what the dream meant, but I had this dream. And as I woke up, I immediately had a feeling that my friend had texted me to say for some reason they were late for dinner, which didn't make sense at the time. But when I looked at my phone, I saw that in fact I had received a text and that they were telling me they'd overslept from a nap and now they were rushing to get dinner ready. So I immediately made a video talking about this dream, sharing. It was in the very beginnings of kind of coronavirus. I hadn't heard much about it because I don't watch news. So I didn't realize anything, but shortly thereafter, after this dream of bugs, which supposedly, I guess, from what I've understood from Bible study or from dream dictionaries and just reading on my own and praying and trying to have understanding, bugs symbolize disease, and then there was the food, the half-eaten sandwich that was being carried away. So that made sense that the grocery store runs happened after that. My second dream, maybe about 5, 6, 7 nights ago at this point now, was of me standing outside of a McDonald's restaurant, and I saw guys, like army guys, rappelling out of airplanes and diving down, and I asked somebody next to me what's going on, to which they said that's the National Guard coming in. And then the next vision I had, or picture in this dream I had, was me looking at a hamburger, and the hamburger was full plastic. Now, as I've prayed on this, trying to understand what plastic, at first I thought maybe plastic food would be fed fake food. But I've come to understand that what this is telling me is that the food shortages we're seeing are fake. They're not true. This food is fake. This shortage is fake around this. Plastic is fake. And that it's the enemy actually creating a crisis, creating a panic, driving fear into us, because anybody that's heard the word false evidence appearing real is fear. It's not trusting in God. It's pulling a lot of us away from God. While it does ignite some of that, internal, wanting to be close to God, where He's in control. At the same time, a lot of us are starting to look for control, ways to control this ourselves, like how we can do these things. Instead of having a spirit that is of power, we're having the spirit of fear, which is not God-given. And that's causing us to actually slip further away. And even worse in this situation right now, we have the fear and we have the panic from food shortages that I believe were created by the devil. As funny as that sounds, these food shortages causing fear, and then churches getting shut down as a result of this, to where now we are becoming isolated. That fellowship we used to count on, those different people. I'm praying that those of us that feel like we're not in our usual rhythm of going and hearing a great teaching, a great message at church, And those of us that aren't having the usual fellowship contact with these people that we're used to, that kind of reignited us and kept us going, that we don't let us slide into our old ways during this time. We don't let this fear and this panic come in that might take us further away from God. There's really two ways to go in a situation like this. One way is, of course, to say, I can't control this, God. Please help me. You're the only one in control. Or to say, man, like God isn't doing his job. I have to do something myself, which is not the case. God will provide. He feeds the birds of the ground, so he will always provide a way. While we're not in control of things, it's important to realize that God is fully in control, because what I'm seeing is that things are going to get worse before they get better. They will get better, but I'm seeing that we're going to have increased lockdowns. We're going to have continuing food shortages. We're going to have increased panic and fear, worries. And then there's the financial, just the problems with the finances in the world as a general whole, because the world's going to be on this tighter lockdown, but also on an individual level where people that have paycheck to paycheck are all of a sudden having difficulty, and with what money they do have, they're having trouble getting food due to food shortages. And I do believe this lockdown will be further, with National Guard being brought in to keep people further contained. So regardless of if we have a spirit of fear or not, and if we don't, and we just trust in God and we're going out in this, there is still, there's going to be governmental laws that we have to abide by as Christians, unless God's telling you different. But in my case, he hasn't told me different yet. So I will be abiding, and I have been abiding by these laws, staying in, just because where I am in California, we're not supposed to go anywhere unless it's to the store, which I've been to the store, but only to the store. And that's not a pretty sight. That's a dream come true, unfortunately, when I see half-eaten sandwiches with bugs crawling away from them. It's like, that's pretty crazy to me. And that's why I'm sharing these things, is because just around this, I guess in particular, but I did have the vision that was different than this, but the healing was different than this. But these dreams and then these thoughts that are coming into my head have all been around this virus. And what's crazy is when I talk about the way that the church has kind of closed down, and there might be some people falling away, or people that are feeling that they have to be in control, and not realize that ultimately that God is in control, because he's shaken everything. He has shaken what we're used to, the foundation of what we're used to. So when he shakes that, it kind of shakes loose these different things inside of us to find out what we're made of. If it's easy to be, for some of us, it's easy to be with God when everything is controlled and smooth and cool. And once something is shaken, that's when we start to see the problems. But like God does, he prunes us. And it's through these times that we can learn to be stronger, closer to God, and really get rid of some of the things that are hindering our relationship with God. So during this time, don't fear the virus, fear God ultimately, and know that through this, the great hope that's going to happen is once this is over, and it will be over, there is going to be an amazing revival that's going to take place, where a lot of us that have not been with God or right with God in obedience to God are going to rediscover that, reaffirm that, come back to that. And many that aren't Christians are going to come to know that it's only Jesus Christ that they can be saved beyond this world with their eternal soul. So during this time, if you are self-contained, in your house or whatever, I recommend finding some good ministry videos or good online church to keep tabs on. I know we have a lot of free time nowadays, so spending that time with God, either in studying the Bible or doing Bible apps, or even what I like to do is just long prayer. And I could sit in a prayer state for like 30 minutes and just really, there's a lot, as surprised as you might be, you can speak for 30 minutes to God when you're opening your heart and talking to him about everything that's going on, and get in a deep state of gratitude and thankfulness for the things that you do have, and for his provision, and for the way he safeguards you. There's so much to be thankful for despite the situation we might be in. And there is so much that we can work on to become more obedient to him, more understanding of his ways, more trusting in him during this. And it's a shaking time where he has shaken things that we can grow the most, and use this as a time of great revival, even despite what I'm saying, I know my message won't reach many people, but even despite what I'm saying, I see a really big revival coming after this, a revival like we have not seen in a long time, that's going to be amazing and is going to glorify God. So that's my message for anybody that isn't currently saved. If you're worrying where you stand with God, or not completely understanding what you should be doing, feel free to get in touch with me. I would love to help you find God for your own personal relationship with Him. Reading the Bible, studying His Word is a great way to learn His heart, and of course, giving your life over to Jesus Christ and understanding that God rewards us being obedient. He hears our prayers when we are obedient to Him. And that's the most important thing, is trying to, even though we all fall short, trying to live a holy, blameless life and being blameless for Jesus Christ, but at the same time, not just doing what we want to. That's the bottom line. So guys, I do hope that this message should help you. I know that it gets a little, with the dreams and the different thoughts and visions I've had, it can get a little scary at times. But I hope that it gives you hope and courage that we will get out of this, and at the end of it, we will have an amazing revival where we will see so many brothers and sisters coming to Christ that it'll all be worth it. So in the end, that's where we're at. So guys, until next time, thank you for watching. Please, if you'd like to support my ministry, please do so through the link below. Like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, God bless.